And hello, everyone. I believe that we are live on this great, beautiful, and glorious Friday. So, my apologies. We're about 5 or 6 minutes behind schedule, right? We had to go handle some business because apparently the enemy is not happy with some information we're about to put forth for our faith community, for what we're about to put forth for our vulnerable communities, for what we're about to put forth into the land. And so, we were able to push through any technical challenges, any difficulties, because we know no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So we are so grateful that we are on and we are live and we have some important and critical information to get to you. To get to our family, to get to our friends, get to our churches, and we are excited about it. So welcome everyone to CFW Live. I am your host, Tia Brewer Footman, and also the founder of CFW Live. So for some of you that may be saying, okay, Tia, we see you. What is CFW Live and what is CFW? Because I know you were asking that question, right? So CFW stands for Community Faith Works. And our whole focus and purpose, we serve as a statewide nonprofit initiative in which we are helping communities by serving and developing healthy people and thriving neighborhoods. How do we do that? We partner up with pastors. We partner up with churches throughout the state of South Carolina, and we train our pastors on how to become future community economic developers and neighborhood revitalizers. I don't even know if that's actually a word, revitalizers, but we're going to use that because that's what we're helping to build up with our pastors as we partner up with them. You're actually seeing images right now inside the classroom where we're working and training with pastors. In fact, there's a picture of one particular pastor that you're going to notice here live in just a few moments. We're so excited because he's going to be bringing our FaithWorks moment here. But you're gonna see a familiar face. He's deep in thought in that particular picture, and that's because our classes are intense. We focus on things that help us to assess our neighborhoods and communities by developing community needs assessment. We also focus on asset mapping so that our pastors and people and members of their church who are part of this community faith work project understand what are the assets, what's working in their neighborhoods and communities. So that's why you saw that pastor in deep thought. You're also looking at pictures of where we take pastors on site visits and field trips so that they can see other communities that are getting neighborhood revitalization right. Okay. And this helps our pastors because for many of them, for many of our pastors, even my husband, who's a pastor, what they feel in our underserved and marginalized communities is that it is riddled with challenges and they sometimes can feel hopeless. But we partner up with other organizations and entities that are getting neighborhood revitalization right. So you're actually looking at pictures from a field trip and a site visit where we partnered up with Reverend Bill Stanfield and the great folks of Metanoia in North Charleston so that our pastors get a firsthand look into what it looks like to revitalize our communities and our neighborhoods. And so with Community Faith Works, we've been in existence for about 2 years now. We thank God for our initial partnership from BB&T, which is now Truist, as they supported us through the Community Reinvestment Act grant, and it has been very helpful. So every single month, we were doing dedicated trainings for our pastors and members of their churches that were helping to form nonprofit organizations, CDCs, helping pastors to really understand the concept of social enterprise so they really could impact their communities and neighborhoods. We were doing all of those things prior to the pandemic that has hit and impacted all of us throughout this country and throughout the world. In fact, it troubles me every single week when we have to talk about the cases that continue to rise, that continue to increase. And yes, we're still talking about COVID-19. In fact, I wanted to show you some of the latest cases throughout our state. I think now it is at, if we move that super there, I could see the numbers. I think it's right at about 12,000, let me see, 12,651 cases and 518 deaths. So it continues to sadden us to see those numbers, but we are hopeful. We're believing and we're trusting God for treatments, for cures, for answers. And, you know, speaking of hope, we do have a moment here coming up where we're going to spend some time talking about hope, and we're going to be inspired by one of our friends that's going to talk about our FaithWorks moment here. We're going to talk about that in just a second because we do need hope, right? We do need that. But when looking at those cases, the Community FaithWorks team said, okay, we cannot sit back and just allow COVID-19 to disrupt everything. So we turned this into kind of a learning lab and an opportunity to hear even more so from our pastors, our neighbors, and our communities to see how can we help you as we are all sustaining and living through this pandemic. And so that is why we created the Community FaithWorks Care Response Team. You see all those superheroes up there because we are inspired by our churches and by our neighborhoods and our communities. And so we created this to help not just continue to advocate for our vulnerable communities in the state of South Carolina through our churches and our relationship with the pastors, but we also said that we wanted to link up and provide and disseminate essential service information and resources that can help our communities in real time. So we created a website, we created the Facebook page. We also created this weekly broadcast that you see every single Friday at 1:30, where we have critical information that we can talk a little bit more about. And then we post it also on our website. So that's the Care Response Team, right? And so those are one of the things that we have. I wanted to make sure that I didn't get ahead of my notes here. Oh, speaking of the fact that we house things through our Facebook and website, but we also have a weekly broadcast, as I just mentioned. And so today our topic is going to be about preparing South Carolina's post-COVID-19 workforce. And I've got some very special guests that are experts in their field and in their area. They're going to speak to us about how we get post-COVID ready, especially as it pertains to the workforce. And prior to doing that, we do want to make mention again about our website. We call this kind of our resource roundup that we place on our website with critical information that you can use. In fact, I know our producer is preparing to pull up a slide of our website so that you can actually see it. And all you have to do is log on to communityfaithworks.org. That's communityfaithworks.org. And what you'll see is when you click through some of the pages, in particular, if you go to congregants and community, you'll see that section where we have listed essential services from housing resources to financial resources to legal resources. And many of these resources are either free or at minimal cost, and they're provided through grants that many of the organizations and agencies write so that they can provide this to our communities. So we want to make sure that you know that that's available through our resource roundup. And we want to remind you every single Friday, make sure and set your calendar for 1:30 as we go live and we stream right here, critical information. Share this with as many people as possible so we can make sure that our communities get firsthand information. Okay, now this is a moment that I look for every single week because, as I mentioned before, we need some inspiration, right? We need to continuously be encouraged and be reminded that it's going to be okay. And so that's why we created what's called our FaithWorks moment. And I have a very special friend that is joining us. I'm so excited about it. This is Pastor Shann Laribo. Now, it's interesting because I know him as Sean, but I heard that Sean is more like a nickname. So we're going to go with the proper and the correct way. You know, his birth name is Pastor Shann Laribo from the Net Church. How are you, Pastor?
Doing great. I'm doing great. Wonderful to be with you, Tia. Thank all of you for this opportunity, but to Tia and to Gerald Footman and to the Community Faith Work whole team. This is wonderful what you're doing for our community, especially in a time when it's hard to get information and to get correct information. I just want to dive in for a moment and really to bring some hope today, hit you with two things. One is so much is going on in our society. Of course, we got pandemic, which is enough all by itself. But then, of course, we have also the George case that's going forth right now. And then we have all the protesting that's happening throughout our nation. So the Lord laid one thing on my heart, and that was in 8 minutes, we saw a knee actually kill a man. And for us in the faith community, we all know what a knee is for. And knees are for praying, and knees are for protecting. not for killing. We should never see a knee killing. So I just want to challenge each and every one of us that there is something we can do. And I'm going to hit you with two things. Number one, that we can do is we could take the knee back. Just think about it. Historically, we don't want our kids and grandkids to see this picture of a knee killing a man, and that become what they know about a knee in the future. We don't want that to be the loudest word. So let's take the knee back where it's supposed to be. If we're protesting, let's take a knee. And I'm so excited to see police officers and protesters kneeling down together in the midst of protesting and things of that nature. It's time to pray. That's what taking a knee back is all about. It's praying. The brother, our football player that took a knee a few years ago and got really distracted, I think, in the media and through a lot of politics, the purpose of why he was kneeling. But I think everyone is recognizing today that he had a real purpose, and we want to bring that purpose back. So let's kneel down and pray for blue lives that actually matter, because blue lives protect all lives. And let's pray for white lives and Native American lives and Jewish lives. And let's pray for Black lives, because every life matters. And then the second thing that we could do, I found a passage of scripture that just blew me away. Our Proverbs chapter 16 in the 32nd and 33rd verse. I'll read it out of King James first. It says, "He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. He that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city." Then at 33, "The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord." Well, you have to go to the Message Bible to get some deeper meaning. Out of the Message Bible, it says the one that has self-control is better than the power of a politician. Self-control is better than the power of a politician. Then it says, make your motion and cast your vote. Cast your vote, but God still has the final say. So I just want to encourage everyone today, take a knee back and cast your vote. Go and vote, and recognize that even when you cast your vote, God still has the final say. Thank you so much, Tia Brewer. This is Shann Laribo, and this has been your Community Faith Moment.
Thank you so much, Pastor Laribo. That great wisdom. We appreciate the perspective of our pastors and leaders that come on every single week. And certainly, Pastor Laribo was speaking through the lens of Jesus, and to have the love of Christ as we look at all people, because you're right, all lives do matter. And as you mentioned, it's so good to also hear and see the healthy protest, the positive protest, the peaceful protest that's also happening, so that we all can come together on one accord, because our land definitely needs a healing. Thank you so much, Pastor Laribo, for your perspective and coming on with this FaithWorks moment. So we're back, everyone, right? We're back. We want to talk about now, as we go from hope and inspiration. I believe that this is going to continue to add to our hope and our inspiration and empowerment. And we could also add, it's going to equip us as well as we talk about workforce post-COVID-19 and how to start preparing for that. I've got some special guests that are joining me now. Now, they are from Palmetto Goodwill, and they also are representing I believe it's the Job Placement Center. Now, what's really interesting is many of us, and I know I've thought the same thing before, many years ago, before I had the chance to really understand some of the great things that Palmetto Goodwill and Goodwill is doing. Most of us think of Goodwill in terms of, consignment stores, and we can get some really great buys on gently used clothes, and we can also make, clothing donations, and certainly of other areas that we want to be able to give away. We can make those donations through Goodwill. But I think it is very great for our viewers to be able to know the various services and resources that you have. And in particular, we're going to talk about in terms of our workforce. And so I've got some special guests we want to be able to cover. And I'm just a heads up, everyone, we started about 5 minutes behind schedule. So we're going to go about 5 minutes over because I really want you to be able to get this information. But we're going to talk about, in a snapshot sort of way, unemployment rates due to COVID. We're also going to talk about top employment industries pre and post COVID. We're also going to talk about how agencies like Palmetto Goodwill is helping communities to recover. And then we're going to talk about who qualifies for some of the programs and services that they have to offer. So now joining me now are some special guests. You got a little peek view of them just a moment ago. We have Ilze Astad, Palmetto Goodwill's Grant and Program Director. We also have Monique Smalls, who's Palmetto Goodwill's Grant and Program Manager. I would go into reading your bios, which are, they're extensive. You gave me an abbreviated version, but they're powerful. But I really want to dive into some of this content. And so I'm so grateful that we've got some experts that are joining us here. I want to dive in, and I want to start first. Well, I should say hello, ladies. I saw you waving, Monique. Hi. You see, I'm excited. I'm ready to talk about this, right? So I want to start first with you, Ilze. If you can kind of help shape a framework here so that we can understand workforce development, South Carolina employment, and we want to probably start out by talking about industries pre-COVID-19, and then based on your data, what is it looking like in terms of post-COVID-19? I think we've got a slide we want to pull up as well.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having us, Tia. We're so excited. And I'm so glad for the intro that you made. Yes, our stores are still here. You can make those wonderful donations and get these wonderful finds as well. But this is how it comes full circle. Your donations support our mission. That's how we are training folks and putting them back to work. And with your intro, yes, it's such an unprecedented time right now. The labor market has not looked like that ever in our 4 decades being around and supporting this community. So if you are interested in getting a new job, prepare for a new career, a better job, you have come to the right place. So, and broadly looking at what South Carolina and unemployment is looking at right now, the job numbers came out for the nation out this morning, and they're pretty grim. We are looking at 13.3% unemployment rate. There are 560,000 individuals who have filed for initial unemployment claim here in South Carolina since mid-March. We are looking at this new normal and coming back into our communities, probably at a higher level, double-digit unemployment rate going into the 3rd and 4th quarter. So what did the industries look like pre-COVID? We knew that manufacturing was strong. We knew that welding was strong, logistics, transportation, IT, construction. Those are all expected to rebound. But what we are looking at right now in terms of not only the industry expansion and what our clients are desiring, we are looking at post-COVID, a little bit more of those medical companies, sort of residual services that are supporting medical companies. So we have folks desiring training in medical billing, medical coding. We also have folks working with our partner in Walterboro going into nursing school. So anything from nursing to phlebotomy and so on. So the takeaway for this, though, is that if you have the time and if you have the motivation, Palmetto Goodwill can help you with amazing industry credentialing courses that are all at no cost for those who qualify. And all we are asking from you is your commitment of time, dedication. So if you have the will, we have the way.
Yeah, that's such a you're such a um, ray of sunshine, right? In the midst of those troubling unemployment numbers, I want to also talk about, because you mentioned the unemployment rates. I think there's actually a chart or a graph that we want to pull up, if we can pull it up, that talks about not just the unemployment numbers, but Goodwill also, Palmetto Goodwill has this also broken down based on educational level. Can you speak to this? Because I know moving forward post-COVID, it's going to be all about retooling and upgrading and cultivating our skill sets and even new skill sets.
Absolutely, Tia. Well said. So things have changed a lot, of course, and when we look at the unemployment rate, and again, as of this morning, 13.3%, it's not really telling the entire story. So we dug a little bit deeper and looked how this unprecedented economy is affected so many groups disproportionately as it pertains to education. So as you can tell from the chart, folks who have less than high school diploma are disproportionately higher affected. This group, the unemployment for this group has reached 21.2%. And even also for those who have some college or associate degree, perhaps the unemployment for that group has also reached 15%. So the good news here, folks, though, is that we can help. So we can give you those hot industry classes, those credentialing classes that you can finish in short bursts and use your downtime to upskill and be ready for that new job, like Tia said, or be ready for a brand new career.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use that word. It sounded like a cross between upscale and upskill, but really, is that what we should be thinking as upskill? Like, right? Just
and Monique and I, we have this saying around the office: if after the COVID and facing this new normal, whatever that looks like, if you don't come out on the other side with a new hustle, the new job, new hobby, that means you were never short of time. So, folks, if you have that motivation and you have been thinking about something outside the box, we have career navigators standing by. They are all credentialed, highly skilled professionals. Think of them as sort of your personal headhunter. I mean, those services are really expensive, but we are offering those for free. Folks who can help you calibrate and find that new way.
So, Ilze, I feel like you're preaching. Like, I'm really feeling this right now. I feel your passion come through our live stream, and I really hope that our viewers also sense this, the great passion, because help and aid is here for our communities. Now, Monique, I've got some questions for you as well. So now I read in your bio, I want to make sure that I got this correct, that you oversee a federal grant that specifically assists individuals who've been affected by company layoffs and closures. Is this federal grant in relation to COVID-19, or it's just the resources that were available in general?
Well, thank you, Tia. It's actually this grant we actually had prior to COVID coming on board, but now the impact that this grant is able to have on our communities based on what we're going through now. I always tell Ilze, nothing happens by circumstance. That God always has a plan and a purpose for everything. And what we saw, even with this grant, is actually through the Department of Labor, and it is to help individuals that have been laid off. Individuals that are underemployed. We didn't see the rise in those individuals really needing that grant. But now, since we're in, I think, our second year into this grant, with COVID coming on board, and for us to have these resources and these tools and the training for these individuals to get the training, to get supportive services, and to actually better their lives, it was a purpose and it was a plan for this grant to be on board. So it's nothing new, but we're just seeing that we're able to utilize those funds even more now.
But I mean, how profound. So imagine if your agency did not move forward, it would almost be I don't want to say impossible, but it would be incredibly overwhelming right now if you look to just start that now. So you had a year in advance to really test out the resources that you're getting from the federal government, and to be in position right now because the need is so great. We heard Ilze talk about, those latest numbers. So kudos for, Palmetto Goodwill and Goodwill Industry and Enterprises for being, trailblazers and recognizing the need in community and not waiting for the crisis, right? But getting ahead of it. I want to also talk about, so as I understand, Palmetto Goodwill, and I'm looking at notes here, right? So, but Palmetto Goodwill is offering training, job readiness courses, job placement services, and supportive services. So, Monique, can you kind of take us through step by step? I know we've got about a few more minutes here, but that's totally fine. We're gonna end right at about 5 minutes. But if you could walk us through step by step and give us kind of a helicopter view of what these different resources and services that you provide.
Definitely. And Ilze kind of has already touched on our training, those career credentialing trainings. So one of the big components of Palmetto Goodwill and the services that we offer are our training. So we have online trainings those are those medical coding, those IT courses. We have some individuals that are getting their design degrees in design. So we have those online courses with our partner with Ed2Go, where we have 200 plus courses at the fingertips of our clients that are coming through our door. It is a self-paced, and especially with COVID right now, it's really good that they're able to actually take these classes in the safety of their own home. So we've seen a lot of individuals enrolling into that course, as well as online high school diploma. So this has also been another big selling point for our Ed2Go trainings. We see a lot of individuals want to take that time to get their high school diploma, and we're so happy that we're able to provide that opportunity for them. Also, we have it's called Google Grant. It's a new initiative that we have with Google. So we're offering Google IT scholarships to individuals. We have those classes in the industrial fields, manufacturing. We have CDL, HVAC. We have welding as well. So those are the classes that we actually offer with our partner with Palmetto Training. So those are on-site classes that we offer for our clients. And for the training aspect of what we do is huge. It is huge. And we definitely allow our clients that opportunity to be enrolled into those classes. Another component is the job readiness. So what's the purpose of us allowing our clients to go through these trainings, get these credentials, get these certifications, and they're not prepared to get the job, right? So with our job readiness component, we're helping individuals build ATS compliant resumes. When I was trying to find a job, I didn't know what ATS meant, but right now they have to have an ATS compliant resume. So when their resumes are going through these systems, that employers are not throwing their resumes in the trash. So our career navigators are here to assist our clients with those resumes. They're teaching them soft skills. Be on time for work. Don't be late. So we're doing the soft skills. We're basic computer skills. So anything, interviewing skills. So any place that our clients are falling short, our job readiness department and services is going to help our clients get to that next stage. So as we're talking about next stage, the next stage is job placement. So you're ready for this job now. So now we have a department called our job placement team. So our job placement team is actually making those connections with those businesses in the community to actually get those jobs and support our clients as they're applying for those jobs. And then finally, our supportive services. We know with COVID, a lot of our clients are having hardships, so they may need financial support. So we're here to help them with that as well. So I was trying to talk fast, but those are the core services that we offer.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you could take a breath now. But I mean, do you see why Monique and Ilze are so passionate? I'm excited because of all the wealth of resources that is right here available to us. And like, I've heard you both say free of charge for many of those things. Ilze, can you also share really quickly how folks can qualify?
I thought you will never ask. So if you are a veteran, you always have a place with us for programming. If you receive food stamps, now known as SNAP, we have a program for that. Or if you are currently receiving unemployment benefits or have just qualified or are in a process of, we have a program for you. So you can find us here in Berkeley, Charleston, Dorchester counties. We have 2 career centers open, one right here on Rivers, the other one right there on Charlie Road in Somerville. We are open Monday through Friday, 10 to 3. Also by calling 843-566-072. Also business hours and anytime 24/7, just going to palmettogoodwill.org, which is probably the easiest way. There's a very short form that you can fill out, and our trained professionals will be in touch with you within 1 to 2 business days. So please, if you have a motivation, we have a way for you to get there.
So I love the passion. I love the customer service. I love the community zeal that Palmetto Goodwill portrays and demonstrates. And they have some great advocates that are speaking on their behalf. Thank you so much, Ilze. Thank you so much, Monique, for being a part. And yes, I've got to have you back. So you guys pause. I want to talk to you after the show. But also, we want to encourage you. We're going to put information that Palmetto Goodwill has shared. We're going to put their information also on our website. And please share this with our neighborhoods, our churches, our church sisters, our church brothers, our community at large, so that we can be workforce ready post-COVID, right? It's all about retooling and I think upskilling. I think that's what Ilze said. Yeah, I'm going to learn all the terminology so that we can begin to or continuously share with our neighbors and our communities. Folks, I hope that you have enjoyed this particular broadcast. You can tune in every Friday at 1:30 as we bring you critical information that you can use. And certainly next week, Friday, it's going to have a little bit more of a serious note to it. Not that this wasn't, but what we're going to be talking about next week is how communities of color can cope, how we're going to focus on our emotional and our mental well-being as we talk about coping and surviving through COVID-19 and also the racial unrest that we are experiencing throughout our globe and here at home in South Carolina. So we're going to talk to some experts. It's going to help us in terms of building up our mental health and from a biblical perspective, because God's word is the only thing that will last and is true and is just. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We'll see you right back here next Friday at 1:30. God bless. Be safe.